Hello, I'm Ben, and in this video, I'm going to be exploring the two functions of anxiety and taking you through a guided inquiry to find those within yourself. Now, there'll be two parts to the video, one for each of these functions with a guided inquiry for each. Those two functions are, on the one hand, relational. So anxiety exists as a signal from your nervous system that there's some unmet relational need. There's some fear of connection or love being withdrawn. The second function is emotional. What anxiety does is it represses emotions and expressions that feel unsafe to allow, largely because might threaten connection with other people around you. So there is a link to the first one, but they have slightly different flavors to them. And I'm going to go into a bit more detail on each of these. Anxiety itself, to help understand it, you have to know that one, it lives in the body, right? So you can feel anxiety, and that's where we need to look when we're exploring it and wanting to let go of it, to resolve it. We have to turn towards it. And actually, we're not trying to get rid of it, or when I say let go, we're not trying to push it away. We really want to welcome it in. We need to get to know it, understand it, feel into what's underneath it, that relational wound, that emotional suppression. That's what we need to feel into and through in order for that anxiety to relax. Anxiety has a few qualities. It's got a very abstract, hypothetical edge to it. It's often projecting different scenarios. And what if this happens? What if that happens? I'm going to do this, but what if she thinks this? What if he does that? And it's continuously scanning for those hypotheticals. It's very activated as well. It's trying to mobilize you. It's always trying to help you to get to grips with the situation, to take control. Sometimes there is a freeze on top of the anxiety. You have this desire. It's like, I've got to fix this. Oh my God, I've got to do something. But actually, we're also sort of paralyzed at the same time. That's when we have this anxiety coming up, and we have a freeze response that comes over the top of it. In which case, we're kind of being pulled in two directions at once. But that's a little bit beyond the scope of this. If I could summarize anxiety in one sentence, it would be this kind of idea that if I don't manage this, I'm not going to be okay. Right? So, if I don't make sure my boss is happy, I'm not going to be okay. If I don't make sure that they're not mad at me, I'm not going to be okay. If I don't make sure that I arrive on time, I'm not going to be okay. And that anxiety is this signal from your nervous system that, okay, we need to manage this situation. And it's the reason it's so intense or can be so chronic is because when we have this chronic, when we've experienced disconnection many times in our childhood, we have this continual fear of this love or connection being withdrawn. And so that anxiety is there almost as a permanent feature of our landscape, and it's clinging on to whatever happens to be in front of us. Whatever the drama or the dilemma of the day is, it'll sort of latch onto that. And it's never actually about that thing. It's always about this deeper aspect of ourselves. And that's what we're going to be exploring today. So when it comes to this unmet relational need side of anxiety, when we're growing up, we have so many deep psychological, emotional, spiritual needs. For touch, babies need to be held, almost 24/7 to really grow up healthily. For safety, for attunement, that there's an adult with us who's present and calm and resourced and listening and hearing us and seeing us. For a sense of autonomy, that we're not being told what to do all the time. We can roam around and explore a little bit. For touch to be held, for play, all these things, for expression. And sometimes though those needs aren't met, especially in modern society is not very good at needing them. Babies often in prams by themselves, or you go into kindergarten so young and then you're forced to try and learn the alphabet when you should be playing. And you can imagine a baby who's trying to get its mum's attention, and the mum's on the phone. For that baby, that baby is then experiencing that disconnect, that attention, that love. These needs are being withdrawn from it, and you can almost, if you visualize, you can almost feel the baby getting anxious. It's like, oh my God, I don't have what I need, relationally speaking. it starts to get anxious. It starts to try to manage the situation. It might start to cry or to scream to grab attention, or act out in some way, to be a bit naughty, to, if it's a bit older, to try and get the attention of the mother, to okay, I'm safe, I'm being attuned, I'm being seen, whew, I'm okay. And each time, this holding is withdrawn, we experience this emotional upsurge which we can't handle. And so this is the beginnings of this emotional wound that exists within us. We carry then these unmet needs within us into later life. And that anxiety is like a reverberation of these original unmet needs into the present moment. And again, then it's like there's that echo of that little baby within you, that little child who isn't certain it's going to get love and connection and touch and holding and safety. And we kind of project that onto the people around us, like our boss. We're worried our boss is going to be angry. Our friends, we're worried our friends are going to be upset with us. Or, we're worried we're not working hard enough, and so people aren't going to love us because of that. And it all goes back to these roots. So let's do a little inquiry to see if we can feel into some of these things in ourselves, and just follow my instructions step by step. If things start feeling a little bit intense, then obviously take a break. Just feel your feet on the floor. Maybe give yourself a hug, or go for a little walk just to take the edge off. Or similarly, it's possible you might not feel that much, and that's okay. Sometimes it takes time to get in touch with these parts of ourselves. So nothing's wrong. It's just I'm talking to a lot of different people here, and it's hard to tailor it for everyone. But just do your best and see what comes up. So as a warning, I will be inviting you to think of a moment that's makes you anxious. So that could be potentially a little bit triggering. So just wanting to warn people of that in advance. But I'm going to instruct you or invite you to think of something that's quite moderate, so it's not too intense. Right, let's go for it. So firstly, taking a moment to get comfortable and get present. Dropping out of the mind, coming more into the body. Let's bring some curiosity to whatever's here, different sensations and aches and emotions and swirls of energy, whatever it is. Then just grounding and resourcing ourselves a little bit. See if there's some aspect of your experience that feels, fairly grounded, solid, stable, maybe just neutral. Maybe it's your feet on the floor, maybe it's your butt on the chair. Maybe you could place a hand on your heart and that feels kind of grounding, supportive. And just spending a few moments here, sort of just connecting to that groundedness. Now I'm going to invite you to bring to mind a moment when you felt moderately anxious. Maybe it was at work, maybe it was with your partner, with a friend, or when traveling. And it can be a specific memory, or it could be a kind of a generic memory. You've been anxious at work for years, and you kind of have a generic sense of being at work. That's fine too. And then just really make it real. See if you can really just feel into that moment of anxiety. It's like, oh God, I'm gonna miss the plane, or I don't have enough time to do all this work. It's never gonna be done as well as I need it to be. A sense, feeling into that. Maybe you can imagine that someone is angry. It's like, oh my God, I'm so anxious there. My friend's angry with me. Then dropping into the body, just we've brought that image up in the mind. That's going to make the body react. Just noticing where you can feel that anxiety. Maybe it's in the chest or the belly or the arms, or the head. Just noticing how it's coming to you and just letting it be for the time being. Now let's feel into what's really going on here. So just ask yourself, what does this anxious part of you hope to get from others here? He wants to manage the situation, but to get what? Approval? Praise? Safety? Maybe something else. And what does this anxious part of you fear will happen if you don't manage it correctly? If you don't get all your work done on time, if you aren't able to resolve that rupture with a friend, if you aren't able to make the plane on time, and if you get an answer that's, might be a little bit more superficial, you can ask yourself the question again. So it might be, well, it's afraid that my boss will be angry with me because I didn't get all the work done. Well, what does that mean? Why is that a bad thing? It's like, oh, well, because I would just feel awful. I would feel really ashamed and afraid. It's like, okay. Maybe I'd feel alone. Abandoned. That's starting to get closer to the root of what's really going on here. So whatever you get, feel into that. Maybe it's that sense of aloneness, or there's a fear of being rejected, or you won't be good enough. Just feel into where you're experiencing that in your body. That lack of some kind. And just ask yourself, what does this part of me need? Is there perhaps something that this part didn't get as a child? It wasn't held and told, you're okay. It wasn't held and told, hey, I got you. So we're feeling into this sort of unmet need or lack. We've maybe got a bit of a sense of what it needs. And if it feels okay to you, authentic, and if it feels like you have capacity, see if you can bring that need to that part of you just for a moment. Maybe it just wants to be held. You can bring a hand to it. Maybe there's something you need to say to it or want to say to it. And the purpose of that is not to make it go away. If anything, it's to support you to be even more present with it, with this painful feeling. or whatever experience or sensation you're with. And if you wish, you can pause the video here and just spend as long as you want, just feeling into this part of you, being present with it. Otherwise, just bringing your attention back to the resource we had at the beginning, that grounding aspect. Maybe it's your feet on the floor again. Okay, maybe you bring your heart to your hands to your heart. Taking your time here to ground yourself. And whenever you're ready, having a stretch and a wiggle and coming back to the room. Now, hopefully, some of you may have started to just get a whiff or a sense of what that unmet need is, or some aspect of it within you. And it's that wound that is driving the anxiety, that part that says, if I don't manage this, I'm going to have to feel this. And it's too much. It's too painful. And that's so understandable. It is really painful to feel like love is going to be withdrawn or connection is withdrawn. And there is no easy way around it. So well done if you followed me through on that. And I have other videos on anxiety you can check out to learn more about this, and stay tuned for a part 2 where we'll be exploring the other aspect of anxiety, that sort of emotional suppression side. Take care. I'll see you later. Bye.